thou be when thou comest in,
Amen.
and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Amen.
The Lord shall cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and shall flee before thee seven, and in all that thou settest thy hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God has given thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, and he shall son unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandment, if the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. Verse 10. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruits of thy body, and in the fruits of thy cattle, and in the fruits of thy ground, in the land which the Lord swore unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heavens, to give thee rain unto thy land in the season, and to bless all be beneath, if that thou hearken unto me, unto the
lesson introduction. Saints, we need to study what we will gain by hearkening to the voice of God, and look at some other people who obeyed him in the Bible. May God teach us as we learn in his feet, in Jesus' mighty name. Lesson outlines as 2 segments this morning. The first one is consequences of disobedience. Consequences of disobedience. Examples of patriarchs of obedience. Example of patriarchs of obedience. When we look at the consequences of disobedience, that is, what is the outcome when you fail to follow his instruction? What is the result? What will be the effect? Even sometimes when we look around us, when you're at work, they keep telling you, when you resumption is 8 o'clock. Or let's even look at a student, not a worker now. You come to school at 8 o'clock, then you'll be able to get breakfast and be settled, and you move to your class. But you decide as a student, no, I'm not going to be there at 8 o'clock. I'm going to come in later at 9. 1 hour is gone past. They've started classes, and you have already missed 1 hour of instruction that day. And when you even get to school, what will they do? They may even give you a tardy paper, mark you down as late, and you keep repeating it, and examination comes. You don't even understand. Or maybe one day, it is in the morning time that the teacher were not able to do the test. How would you be able to get your result? So this is what God is telling us. We always have to obey. If we disobey, there's a consequence to that. Every disobedient earns it. He says he has causes from God. And what does it mean? That is a result of not obeying him. Deuteronomy 11:28. And a curse if ye will not obey the commandment of the Lord your God, but turn aside which you have not known. That is, if you decide to choose for yourself another God that God himself have not told you, or do what he has not told you to, there will be a consequence. There will be a consequence. It will be a condition for not obeying him, for not doing what he told you to do. There may be different consequences. We've seen some consequences that has caused many leaders in the Bible of not even enjoying the full benefit. They did not enter into the... Disobedience receives God's judgment. Every believer who disobeys God is caught in his wrath. And part of his wrath is flaming fire. He will use flaming fire to bring vengeance upon them. 2 Thessalonians 1:8. They don't know God. They don't. Yes, ma'am. And do not obey the gospel of Jesus Christ. A flaming fire. That shall be their judgment, or that shall be their punishment. when they don't do as he has told them to do. If God punished the people of old who disobeyed him, he has not changed. That is the same measure of judgment he imposed upon them for being disobedient. He can still, he has told us, 1 Samuel 12:15, he will still use that same judgment. I think Pastor already mentioned it in the prayer this morning. We see that king. He refused to obey God as he had started, and God released his judgment. He was excommunicated. He was rejected.
But if ye will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then shall...
It still says the same of the new, rather. The God of yesterday. It is still the same God as of today. So we know he had been going through so many things. Yes, we know it was not working out the same way that he had expected. But God said, do this. Why can't you always be there, directing them, leading them? So this is trying to tell us that we have to be responsible too. Yes, we know, all of us, we have to be very, very careful, responsible, believe and obey, and at the same time honor God's words. The way he told us to do it, we act as he has commanded. Moses failed to fully obey. He wanted to satisfy the people because they had already been nagging him. And so 5 and 9 to 10.
So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abraham took Sarah, his wife, and Lot and his brother, so that they had forgotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came.
God told him, the what? Of the country. Then get out of where? Is what? Is kindred. And to get out of his father's house. He said, get out of his father's house and his kindred. Did he say, take your brother Lot along with you? God did not tell him. To be able to what? To benefit from those things that I have already mapped out and I'm going to do for you. But he decided to do on his own. He decided to act on his own volition. He decided to do what was pleasing to him. It's like we want to pass an this. Then I say, okay, just go and whisper it to Sister Mabel. This. Okay, Sister Mabel too. Just continue to whisper it till it gets to the last person in the church. I'm telling you, by the time it gets to the last person in the church, the information is already distorted. It's not the same message that I
think that's kind of related to rumor hearing.
They
correctly.
don't hear it correctly.
And that's how the story that you said turns into something else.
Your kindred and out of your father's house. That was all God said. But Moses decided to add to what God had told him. Moses decided to make what God had told him. He packaged it in a more comfortable way that will suit him. That is what some of us do as Christians. We take some addition to suit us. And sometimes too, we just do it in a way that will be more pleasant to us. It's not the way that God wants it to be. Way we do. He was supposed to meet blessings according to God's promises. But what did he meet? Grievous famine. And God shut himself up from him. God separated himself from Abraham for that period. He did not tell him anything until it got read. Genesis 13:14-16. And the Lord said unto Abraham, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thy eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward, for all the and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Can you see that beautiful promise that God now released to him after that he completely obeyed God. After that he completely obeyed God, now God told him, this is what I want to make of you. This is a promise of inheritance and prosperity that I will leave for you and from your generations after you. Also, God asked King Solomon